Listen to this quote. "I wish I had had this book 19 years ago when we founded Google." You know who said that? Larry Page, the co-founder of Google. I mean, when a guy who built one of the most successful companies ever says something like that, you just have to ask, what on earth is in that book?
All right, let's set the scene. I want you to picture this. It's Silicon Valley 1999. Google, they're barely a year old. They have this massive, crazily bold mission, right? To organize all the world's information. And they've got the brain power, they've got that incredible startup energy, but there's a huge problem. With all that energy, all those brilliant ideas bouncing around, how do you actually get everyone pointed in the same direction? How do you turn that big, hairy mission into reality?
And that, my friends, is where this system comes in. What we're breaking down today comes from the book Measure What Matters, and it's basically the playbook, the secret goal-setting system that didn't just transform Google, it became the secret weapon for success all across Silicon Valley, and honestly, way beyond. So the story really kicks off when this legendary venture capitalist, John Doerr, shows up at Google's office. And you really have to get the picture here. Their boardroom table? Yeah, it was a ping pong table. So Doerr has just made this huge bet on the company, and he comes in saying he's bringing them a gift. And this isn't just any gift. It's a system he learned directly from the master, the legendary Andy Grove over at Intel.
You see, Doerr's whole philosophy cut right to the heart of the problem Google was having. His thinking was simple. Ideas are easy. Execution is everything. And that gift he brought, well, it was a tool designed for one thing and one thing only: world-class execution.
So, what is this magic system? It's called OKRs. That stands for Objectives and Key Results. And really, the genius of it is just how simple it is. It all boils down to a really basic formula. Let's break it down. Okay, first up you have the objective. That's the O. This is your what. It's the big question. What is it that you want to achieve? The trick here is that it has to be something significant, something concrete, and, something that's actually inspirational. Doerr calls it a vaccine against fuzzy thinking, which I love because it just forces you to be crystal clear about where you're going. But an objective on its own is just a dream, right? That's where the key results come in. This is the how. How are you actually going to get there? And these have to be super specific, time-bound, and this is the big one, measurable. I mean, Marissa Mayer, another Google legend, put it perfectly. It's not a key result unless it has a number. That number, that's what makes it real. It just kills all the ambiguity. There's no gray area, no, well, we kind of did it. Nope, you either hit the number or you didn't. Simple as that. But here's the thing you have to understand. This incredible system, it wasn't even invented for Google. Nah. To really get why it's so powerful, we gotta jump in the time machine and go back to the hyper-competitive world of microchips and the brilliant, legendary CEO of Intel, Andy Grove. Now, Grove didn't just invent OKRs from scratch. He actually took an older system and gave it some serious upgrades. You see, the old way of doing things was kind of slow, it was private, and it was always tied to your bonus, which, just makes people play it safe. But Grove's OKRs, they were fast, they were transparent, like for the whole company to see, and they were not tied to compensation. And that one simple change, it was a game changer. It encouraged everyone to be more agile, to work together, and to be way, way more ambitious. So it's becoming pretty clear that getting the structure of your goals right is, well, everything. Because when you get it wrong, I mean really wrong, the results can be absolutely disastrous. And there's probably no more tragic, more famous example of goals gone bad than the story of the Ford Pinto.
Okay, so back in the 70s, Ford was laser focused on just two goals for the Pinto. Thing had to weigh under 2,000 pounds and it had to cost under $2,000. That's it. That was the entire mission. But what critical thing did they forget to measure? Safety. The team absolutely nailed their metrics, but the result was a catastrophe. It's just the ultimate chilling warning. What you don't measure can literally come back to destroy you.
Okay, so that's the dark side. That's the danger of getting it wrong. Now let's flip the script and see the incredible power of getting it right. We're headed back to Intel for this amazing, high-stakes story of a business war they called Operation Crush. And guess what? It's a war they won, thanks to OKRs. So picture this. It's late 1979, and Intel is losing. And I mean, they're losing badly. Their main competitor, Motorola, is just absolutely dominating them in the microprocessor market. The situation was getting dire. So what does Andy Grove do? He launches Operation Crush with this memo, and it basically ignites this company-wide crusade to win at all costs. And the intensity? It was on a whole other level.
I mean, this was not some polite, stuffy corporate memo. Just listen to how one manager, Jim Lawley, rallied his troops. He said, "We have to crush the fucking bastards. We're going to roll over Motorola and make sure they don't come back again." Yeah, this was a war.
And just look at how they organized the fight. They had one crystal clear objective, and then a specific, measurable battle plan. And just like that, suddenly everyone in the entire company, from the engineers to the marketing folks, knew exactly what their mission was. They knew what it took to win.
So when you look at these incredible stories, right, from Google to Operation Crush, what's the secret sauce here? What makes this work so well? Well, John Doerr boils it all down to what he calls 4 superpowers. And this right here is the core of why this system is just so darn effective.
Okay, superpower number 1, focus and commit. OKRs force you to make those tough choices about what really matters. Number 2, align and connect. They create transparency and get everybody rowing in the same direction. 3, track for accountability. You're using cold, hard data, not just guessing. And finally, number 4, stretch for amazing. This is the big one. They push teams to achieve things that seemed impossible.
All right, so it's easy to see how this works for a giant like Google, or a company like Intel fighting a corporate war. But what about for us, for you? How can you actually use this in your own work or even your own life? To me, that's the most important question of all.
Because here's the point. This isn't just some tech bro thing. It's a universal framework. I mean, it works for Google trying to organize the internet, and it works for the Gates Foundation trying to eradicate polio. It provides the scaffolding, the structure for achieving greatness. It creates clarity, it forces alignment, and it builds a culture that doesn't just talk about doing things, it actually gets them done.
And this brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? Back to John Doerr's simple, powerful mantra. Because look, anyone can have an idea. Anyone can say, here's my goal. But actually turning it into reality, well, that is everything.
So I want to leave you with this thought. Forget about that long to-do list for a second, all the things you could do. If you had to apply this system to your life right now, what is the one objective, the single most important thing that truly matters? And what are the measurable, concrete results that would prove, without a doubt, that you did it? You see, that's the real magic here. This system forces you to answer that question. And the moment you do, you stop dreaming and you start building.
Please do subscribe.